All Tomorrows is a sci-fi speculative zoology novel that profiles possible future evolutions of the human species as influenced by a race of alien super beings called the Q. Many of these evolutions are objectively horrifying, however some of them are very fuckable. Today I'll be ranking each and every one of the 42 species in All Tomorrows based on how much fun I think I would have putting my dick in it. The Martians are the first species described in the book. They're the descendants of the first humans to colonize Mars. These things don't look too different from a normal human being. I mean, I can see myself swiping right on that on Tinder. So while the sexual compatibility is there, they aren't really bringing anything exotic to the table, so I'm going to put them at a B. Next up is the Star People, the genetically modified combination of humans and Martians. They're like Martians in that they're basically humanoid, but the giant head and eyes make them slightly less fuckable. They're pretty boring given that they look like the stereotypical cable documentary idea of an alien, so I'm putting them at C tier. The Q are a race of fucked up, fanatical psychopaths roaming the universe and transforming random species into unfathomable genetic abominations. I don't want them anywhere near my penis, so they're getting a D. Now, the worms are very easy access. As you can see, the pussy and asshole are right out in the open. The lack of developed limbs would make them easy to pick up and use as a fleshlight. For the sake of convenience, they're getting a B. The insectophagi are fairly humanoid with the exception of their long-ass tongue, which would be perfect for shoving right up my asshole. Because of that handy little sexual feature, I'm giving them a B. The lopsiders. Because of their flat stature, these things would be very easy to position. You could sit them right in your lap and slip your cock in. Again, for the sake of convenience, they're getting a B. The parasites are tiny, and they also latch onto you and suck your blood while being disturbingly humanoid. Not only are they nowhere near large enough to accommodate my penis, I also don't want them anywhere near my body. So I'm going to give the parasite a D. The finger fishers are fairly humanoid, but their long hook hands make them a hazard. So I'm going to put them at a C. The hand flappers are interesting primarily because of their massive dangling balls. I'm gonna give them an A. The colonials are fully sentient sheets of human flesh who exist literally only to suffer. I cannot even imagine adding to the torture these things experience every day of their lives by getting my dick out in front of them, so I'm giving them a D. The predators. These things are basically furries but ugly, and for that I'm putting them in C tier. The bone crushers. Because of their giant beaks, head is completely off the table. And other than that, they don't have anything interesting to offer, so I'm going to put them at a solid C. Like the predators, the blind folk are basically furries but ugly. However, because they're slightly less ugly than the predators, I'm going to put them in B tier. The prey are fairly boring, but at least tolerable to look at. For that, I'm putting them in C tier. In a similar vein, the lizard herders are boring but tolerable to look at, so they are going right next to the prey. The swimmers. Although their sharp teeth also take head completely off the table, their gorgeous, soft, blubbery bodies would be wonderful to cuddle in a post-coital haze, and for that, I'm putting them in B tier. Fucking a mantelope would be very easy to accomplish with the aid of a step stool. However, sticking my dick in what basically amounts to an antelope with a human head is towing the line a little too close to flat-out bestiality, so I'm putting them at C tier. The Tempter has a giant prolapsed tube pussy that is sticking out of the ground. It is the perfect size to accommodate my massive fat cock. However, fucking the Tempter would require you to lie prone on the ground while fighting off the males of the species, tiny little rodent-like simps whose only mission in life is to slide into the female's tube vagina. Despite these difficulties, the ease of access and creative configuration of the Tempter's genitalia is going to win them our second A-tier ranking. The Titans are giant and would be pretty much impossible to fuck, so for that, I'm putting them at C. The Striders are so tall and fragile that their bones break every time they trip and fall. Contrary to yours truly, it's easy to infer that the Striders probably don't like it rough, so for their own safety, I'm gonna put them at D tier. The hedonists are genetically engineered to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to have a shit ton of sex. For that reason alone, they're going in A tier, because I guarantee you they know what they're doing. The firm, conical ass is only a plus. While humanoid, the Ruin Haunters' stupid Squidward-esque faces force me to give them the unenviable rank of C. As loath as I am to admit it, the killer folk are kind of sexy. I mean, look at that hat, this guy is clearly one dapper gentleman. Unfortunately for me, I'm putting them at B tier. The Flyers. There's nothing really interesting about these airborne humanoids, so I'm putting them at C. The Bug Facers fucking terrify me, so they're going to D tier. Despite the overall elegance and tasteful titty tattoo of this specimen, the Pterosapiens don't have a lot to offer sexually. I'll be nice and give them a B. The Saurosapiens are an interesting case. I'm assuming that the sentient lizards and their human pack animals come as a packaged deal. In the situation I'm imagining, I'm in the middle of a humanoid lizard sandwich. That sounds like a hell of a time, so I'm giving the Saurosapiens and their companions an A. The asymmetric people. I don't even know where my dick would go. C. The tool breeders. Much like the swimmers, these things are very huggable, so I'm putting them at a B. The sail people look like a fucked up perversion of Mrs. Incredible. I don't think I could get hard in the presence of this kind of abomination, so I'm putting them in D tier. The modular people have a wide and interesting variety of holes to choose from, and for that, I'm giving them a B. While the snake people may not have any visible orifices, the large hand sticking out of their asshole will be perfect to jerk you off, while their serpentine body constricts your arteries and restricts the flow of blood to your brain. For that, I'm giving them an A. The symbiotes are entirely controlled by the parasites living on their heads, and I think that's fucked up. C. Realistically, the Satyriacs would be the best creatures on this list to have sex with. Not only are they fully sentient with a richly developed culture, they're known for their love of sex and frequent orgies. Their vaguely humanoid appearance makes them anatomically compatible with a contemporary Homo sapien, and because of their pleasure-seeking society, it's a safe bet that they would not only be willing, but enthusiastic and highly competent sexual partners. For that, the Satyriacs are our first S. The Gravitals are giant metal spheres floating through space. Most of them are also racist assholes. Due to that, and to their complete lack of visible orifices, I'm giving them a D. The Spacers float around the inside of asteroids, using their highly developed assholes to fart out a stream of high-velocity gases that pushes them through the void of space. Despite the temptation posed by the aforementioned orifice, the absolutely atrocious haircut on this specimen knocks the Spacers down to B. The Asteromorphs are more evolved versions of the Spacers, and by more evolved, I mean of course that they have a longer, more powerful asshole. Their oversized sphincters are the perfect length to comfortably accommodate the human penis. Their superhuman intelligence also makes them likely to be highly creative and interesting partners, seducing you with their robust minds as well as their unconventional bodies. Therefore, the Asteromorphs are getting our second S. The Subjects. These hideously deformed descendants of the Bug-Facers were used by the Gravitals as slaves. Because they have such a wide range of possible physical attributes, you never know what you're gonna get, so I'm putting them at B tier. The Terrestrials are the stupid version of the Asteromorphs. The lack of visible entryways forces me to put them in C tier. While they don't have any visible genitals, the long tendrils coming off the new machines are the perfect substitute for a variety of BDSM implements. Because of their ability to cater to specialized tastes, they're getting an A. The Amphicephali are a completely alien species from a foreign galaxy, with no relationship to humanity whatsoever. And physically, they're kind of like a giant snake that swallowed a lizard. Vor is a major turnoff for me, so I'm putting them in D tier. Finally, this creature claims to be the author of the historical record contained within All Tomorrows. He's completely inhuman, but the long prehensile appendage sticking out of his crotch area could easily be used as a dick. For that, he's getting a B. And there you have it, the final and indisputable ranking of all 42 All Tomorrows species, from most to least fuckable. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go jerk off and cry.